This is weather warfare. We're going to tell you and show you how this polar vortex came into existence. Now, this baby was sent over from Russia and China, and we're going to prove that tonight. You'll never hear this on the mainstream media. They will never tell you what really happened. So here we are. We're going to start out on 1/11/2018, back here on November 1st, and we're just going to go forward one day at a time and get a good grip of what we're looking at. So what we're looking at is the temperatures up in the stratosphere. Like, we can come down here in the Antarctic and we can see we're at a minus 11.1. We can come up here to the north, we're minus 91.8. You gotta remember, it's winter time up here in the Arctic, so there's no sun hitting up here. It's wintertime down in the Antarctic. That's why it's warmer down there. So let's keep on going forward. 11.5, 11.6, 11.7, 11.8, 11.9, 11.10, 11.11, 11.12, 13, 11.14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. We're starting to get a little heating event centered right over China and Russia. Actually, it's more China, but just stick with me here. Here's 11/20, the 21st, 22nd, 23rd, 24th. So kind of a weak little warm up there. And then we have one that has been split apart right there. Let's keep on going. We're on the 25th, 26th. So we have a new heating event starting to happen. 27th, 28th, and it starts to dissipate over Alaska, and you can see the warmer air is starting to push the colder air more over towards Europe. Let's go to the 30th, and the heating's pretty much gone now. So here's December 1st, December 2nd. It almost looks like it's being pushed back the same place it come from. Here we are on 12/3. Something happens again, and then it starts heading back towards Alaska. But boom, it mysteriously goes away again. I mean, it dissipates. So there's no sun up here to heat this. So the only way you're going to heat this is with a compression event. Now here we are on 12/10. And we get another mass heat up event right back over to Alaska. And it kind of stays there for a minute, starting to get over to the United States, and it dissipates. So it seems like we're getting wave after wave until here, the 22nd of December. They tried to send us a Christmas gift. You can see we're all the way up into the green. And I'm going to show you exactly what's right there here in a minute. Let's go ahead and document this on up. Look at this sudden heating event. This is what pushes the polar vortex winds out of whack, which totally disrupts the polar vortex. And now we can see the cold air is completely not where it's supposed to be. So they suddenly completely heated up the north, and look at this heat event on the 28th. Pushes this cold air mass way down into the United States, down into Europe. You know, this is when we're getting 7 feet of snow over in Austria. They got the whole year worth of snow in just a few days, but look at where the cold air is. Now we have a heating dome up here. This is January 1st. And we're just going to kind of scroll on up through here. So it looked like they were kind of going back and forth trying to push the heating event. And then we get another heating event, but it's aiming it back to go back towards the United States. This is on the 5th. Exact same area, a little bit more to the east, but you'll see here in a minute. So it's going to push the cold air back out of Europe and back over the United States. What do you know? Now it's parked over the United States from the 13th, 14th, 15th, 16th, 17th, 18th, 19th. No more rapid heating events. The 20th, the 21st, 22nd, the 23rd, 24th, 25th, 26th. I mean, we got to document this all the way up, so I'm just going to keep on scrolling forward. We're into the 30th. Now we're at the 31st. Now we are February 1st. Got to get through this month, and we're going to move on to some crazy stuff. We're going to show you where this stuff emanated, how it emanated, and exactly what the weathermen won't show you. So here we are, we're on today. So it really makes you wonder if you go, that started around the Christmas through the 28th is when they send off the huge blast. Let's jump over to Climate Viewer. All right, here we are at Climate Viewer 3D. We have all the antenna arrays. We have the ionospheric heaters. We have the long range arrays. And I can add on the digisons, like the ones with the red lines, like you can zoom down in here, click that, get a little description. You can go ahead and just zoom down in on these things and see what's down here. Let that clear. We got a giant weather machine down here. All right, let's close that out. Just right up here to the north a little bit. Everybody always thinks there's just HAARP. Not even close. We got a huge one here that you see on all the movies, Arecibo. This one here has 6 cross dipoles. This sucker is massive, man. It's big as a city. You've seen this on all the 007 movies. And they're getting ready to build a new ionospheric heater inside this dish. So this one's 600,000 kilowatts with a frequency of 5.1 through 8.175 megahertz. So let's go ahead and take a look. We got a bigger one down here. I don't know if you guys have ever seen this ionospheric heater. I always mispronounce that, but this baby is huge. It's hidden away in the mountains. But you have to know all this stuff is out here. These are all for weather control. This is a mass antenna array. I mean, this whole giant square here is that. It's a huge antenna array for screwing with the ionosphere, the stratosphere. So let me go ahead and back this back out. Let's go ahead and take a look at where everything has been emanating. What do you know? We have another ionospheric heating facility, the Surya. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it. Let's go take a look at it. But this is right where the sudden heating event took place, and then we just had news that China and Russia are going to be modifying the atmospheric river, the river in the sky. So this is a big old huge another antenna array. This one's 750,000 kilowatts, and they are building one, the ASCAT, out in the I can show it to you real quick. So you have all these different kind of heaters and antenna arrays, and they got several of these weird looking different kind of antenna arrays. What's the black ones here? This is over in Ukraine. Here we got one down here in India, another high sensitive VHF phased array. I mean, they're everywhere, guys. These are all to control the weather. In fact, this is part of the long range facility. Let me get to the right one here. Oh, it's up here. Yeah, here's what we're looking at. Here's the Tromso ionospheric heater. This thing is huge too. Let's go ahead and zoom in on it, see what it looks like. So when you're getting these sudden heating events and there's no solar radiation, no, solar flare, anything to create a compression event in the stratosphere, it's going to be one of these giant ass antenna arrays. That's what they're for. They stretch the ionosphere out, they snap it back, and it creates these compression events. Now I'm trying to find that one that is going to be really huge, which I don't know if, yeah, here it is, ISCAT. Now this one is, they're in the process of building, and this thing, like the HAARP facility is 100 million watts. This thing is going to be 100 billion watts. And you can read all this just to make sure. I'm probably off because I'm just trying to fly through this, but Jim Lee has tons of information on these things. So you got tons of ionospheric heaters everywhere throughout this whole area. And then you can add on, we get rid of that. We try to bring my map list back up. Now you can add on the low frequencies. Here's all our low frequencies and our VLF transmitters. So there's, they're trying to control the polar winds, and they're doing it. And once they build that Ascot one, or I can't remember how to pronounce, once they build that one, it's going to be big time issues for everybody, because they're going to be able to control everything like they already pretty much control all the weather. You have all tons of these VLF transmitters, the very low frequencies, you got super low frequencies, and these digisons. These are for bouncing the HARP signals off. Here's the ionospheric prediction service. So you can bounce these super high frequencies up, pretty much turn the ionosphere into a plasma antenna, and then bounce it back off to any target you'd like to hit. So that's what I think we're looking at here on this, is I think we pretty much had a weather war of moving the polar vortex winds. Let me go ahead and get back there. Might take us a second here. And then we can also turn this into the globe model and see the we can see what the actual polar vortex winds. Here's our target zone. We go ahead and back that up until we find the actual. So like it went from nothing. Here's on the 3rd, January 3rd, January 4th, to the 5th, to the 6th. And here we go, pushing the polar vortex back over towards the United States. Remember, if we go back even farther, when this initially started, they pushed the whole polar vortex over. And then when it started getting too far, they pushed it back, ladies and gentlemen. This is complete control of the jet streams, the polar vortex winds. I mean, here is the super rapid heating event right there. Look at that. Look where that emanates from. There's no hot air coming up from the equator. It comes from nowhere. It comes from them heating the ionosphere. And here we go. See, they heat it up and they send the cold air right over the United States. It gets flying a little too far. So, hey, let's push it back over the other way and center it over the United States. And all at the meantime, when we go back to where that started, let's see what happened to the polar vortex winds as this heating event happened. So, all right, so now let's put this on the winds. Here's what our polar vortex always looks like. It could be in 2 and 3 sections, but you have this high amount of wind up here. So let me fast forward this. We'll see what happens to the polar vortex. Here we are on the 21st, 22nd, 23rd, December 24th. Here comes Christmas time. Wham! Something hits the polar vortex winds, and it's starting to destroy the polar vortex. It's got hit so hard it knocked it down to the equator, and wow, we have no polar vortex no more. This is on the 13th of January. Here's the 14th. We still have no polar vortex. You can go back years and years and years and see it's only done this one other time, and that was back in 2014, the last time they tested moving the jet streams and the polar winds. So anybody that hides this information, the National Weather Service, the sock puppet mainstream media, they have no clue what they're talking about. They're a liar. They're reading their script that was handed down from Raytheon to the National Weather Service, and they go out to all the little sock puppets, and they don't tell you what's really going on. Well, here we are right now. We still had no polar vortex. It's gone. Let's take a look back on last year. Click apply. And that's what it should be looking like. We can go back every year. Let's go all the way back to 2013. See what that one looks like. No data. Let's go to 2014. See, I think they erased the data between 13 and 14 the last time the polar vortex flipped. So see, you still got all the massive winds. No matter what year we go to 2016. I mean, this thing can be different shapes, different sizes, but what it's not is now. It's not gone. This was completely a weather war type scenario. Now, whether that was sent over from Russia and China or if they're all working together, it still needs to be researched. But definitely wanted to show you guys this is how the polar vortex that is probably killing people by cold was manufactured.